Okay, everyone. Now our VVF installation is completed in the last class, right? And vCenter is deployed, and VMware operations for VVF is also installed. So what you are looking at right now is the vCenter server management, also called the VAMI interface, which runs on the 5480 port number. So that's what we are seeing here. And this user interface is purely for managing the vCenter appliance. So you think of it like a control room for the vCenter appliance. From here, we can manage the health, then services, network, then the time configuration, NTP server time configuration, then backup of our vCenter. Then we can work on the update spot, like patching our vCenter. Okay. So let's go one by one. So first, let's look at that overall health option, which is in the summary menu. Okay. So when the overall health is green and says good, it simply means that all internal checks passed during the last health scan. So nothing is broken at this moment. But in real scenarios, in real-time production support, you will see other states also, not only good. There are times when overall health changes to warning, uh, and it doesn't mean that vCenter is down. It means something is approaching a limit. For example, my storage is the storage is filling up, or the memory is high. vCenter still works, but it gives a heads up here on this health status. And there are other options like the condition is critical. When you see it is critical, then in production support, like it usually means a service got stopped, or database, vCenter database is not responding, or disk space partition is full, or a swap file got exhausted. Okay. So at that stage, vCenter may still open, but failure is very close. Okay. Here, let's go one by one, like CPU. So CPU and memory, like it's going to show you like the health of the CPU and memory utilization of the vCenter appliance. Okay. So if the vCenter is undersized, there are possibilities that CPU and RAM goes into warning, right? So it's a sign that vCenter is getting state but still running. So when it goes critical, you'll notice symptoms like user interface becomes very slow. I'm explaining for the CPU and memory option here. Sometimes login might takes time. Then the task, whichever task you are executing in the vCenter HTML5 page, that will be in a running state for a long time. Okay, so that is the reason if the state changes to green to yellow, in that case you should not ignore, because yellow is the earlier like troubleshooting thing which we need to perform as a proactive basis. Okay. So next thing here is about the database. Okay, database is one of the important alert which needs to be taken into consideration. When database is good, like vCenter is completely healthy. When database turns to warning, it usually means that database size is growing very fast, or the database cleanup is not keeping up, or there is some disk latency which is affecting the database operation. So when database option is critical, you may see that that inventory option of your vCenter is not loading. Then host sometimes appear as disconnected, and a task like which get failed randomly. So most of the times, if there is a issue in the database, like warning or critical, that will be treated as a P1 from production perspective. Okay. Next, we'll move to storage option, like storage and swap. Okay. So here, if the storage goes to good state warning, when disk usage across, like the partitions, which is getting, which is breaching the threshold. So it really becomes critical when the partitions are full. So we should have some knowledge about the partitions. So I'm going to explain about all those partitions in the Next menu option called monitor. Okay. Then next is about the swap. Swap is going into warning means memory pressure is already happening inside the vCenter appliance. So when memory pressure will happen, if ESXi is not able to grant the required memory to the vCenter, at that point of time, it kicks in memory swap, and then swap will temporarily act as a memory for the vCenter related activities. Okay. Okay, so in real time scenario, okay, exactly which health status will cause the downtime here. Okay, so most of the times, like if disk space was full, then that really going to create a downtime for your vCenter in the production support. Okay, so here health status, it's not just showing the status, it is telling you the health status of your complete vCenter appliance. Okay. Now on the right hand side, you can find single sign-on. So single sign-on, like this tell us two things. Which domain, like our vSphere local domain is configured. So here by default vSphere.local name which we configured here. Okay, it doesn't mean that we should always use vSphere.local. We can also use different naming convention also also here. Okay, so since it is a lab, I just used vSphere.local. Okay, so as long as this status is running, this vSphere.local authentication is going to work. Okay, so this is about the summary page. So apart from that, in the top, you can find the host name, then product is VMware vCenter server, release name 9.0, version 9.0, build number, and uptime. Its uptime is about 1 hour 45 minutes, right? So we covered almost the summary page here. Let's move on to this monitor option.